Read every day something which is other than your school book. Maybe it's a spiritual book, whether it's a knowledge book, general knowledge book, or you've come across a nice article to read, read. Even if it's one page of reading, get into a habit of reading.
Poila Boishakh is celebrated as the first day of Bengali calendar, which is the official calendar of Bangladesh. In Bangladesh, it is celebrated on 14th of April, while in the Indian state of West Bengal, it is celebrated in 14th or 15th April. So I wish everyone a very happy and prosperous Poila Boishakh. Thank you.
I wish you to all of you. Vishu is a festival that marks the victory of Krishna over Narkasur. It also marks the New Year in Malayali calendar. In Sanskrit, Vishu is known as equal because it marks the vernal equinox. That means the days and nights length are roughly equal.
Bihu in Assam is primarily celebrated in three types: Bahag Bihu, Kati Bihu, or Magh Bihu. Bahag Bihu or Rangali Bihu is considered as the beginning of a new year in Assamese calendar. It is celebrated on 14th and 15th of April every year. Wish you all a happy Bahag Bihu from me and the people of Assam.
Good evening. Chairoba or Sajibu Chairoba is the Lunar New Year festival of the Manipuri religion, also known as Sanamahism. The name Sajibu comes after the first month of the Lunar New Year, also known as Sajibu. I wish a very happy and prosperous Sajibu Chairoba to all my friends. Thank you.
Every year, the first day of Chitrai month is celebrated as Puttandu by the people of Tamil Nadu. Puttandu is also known as Varshapirappu. And mythology says that Lord Brahma created the universe on the day of Puttandu. People usually start their day by taking baths and making columns and decorating the house with flowers. Happy Tamil New Year to all.
Hello everyone, I am Akshay. I love reading books, whether they be autobiographies, storybooks, or books in some other languages. I just love reading.
Besides reading, drawing is my favorite pastime. I also enjoy to do yoga, and programming is what I love the most.
Hello everyone, I am Ananya. I like to make paintings like this, some new forms of art like this mandala art, some sketches, and I also like to explore new apps, dance and sing, and also reuse things like I've done this from paper. Thank you.
My hobbies, I like to paint, and I also like to play karate and tabla.
whether if it is academic related, science fiction, or even theories. I love singing and I like playing keyboard very often. Sometimes I like to draw and I like to write. I play cricket or badminton very often, and I love cooking in my part time.
My most favorite hobby is to do artwork. I love to play badminton, basketball, and indoor games such as carom and chess. I am also a passionate Bharatanatyam dancer and have been learning Bharatanatyam for the past 9 years and have performed in various programs. I also enjoy cooking my favorite dishes.
जय थारी माँ आप सबको हमारी ऑडियंसेस का स्वागत है आइए जुड़िए विश यू ऑल अ ब्लेस्ड हैप्पी न्यू ईयर आप सब अपने अपने तरीके से अपने अपने भाव से मना रहे ईच सनराइज इज अ न्यू बिगिनिंग ईच सनराइज इज आल्सो अ न्यू बिगिनिंग जी मम्मी बच्चे आज अपने अनसंग हीरो के बारे में बात करेंगे और उसके बाद दे विल आस्क यू द क्वेश्चंस
Welcome, my bright children. Thank you, Saina, for a wonderful team. Can I thank you all, Shivani Arora, Shakira Scott, Sujata, all of you together brought together a wonderful team. Thank you so much, Saina. The demonstrative learning has brought lovely children, brought them and prepared them. Thank you, children, for joining us. You can clap for yourself. Thank you so much for joining, and all of you very talented children. I don't need to ask you more about yourself since you've said it all so beautifully projected by the demonstrative learning team. So, over to you, Vasundhara, your unsung hero as you study.
जी जी एक क्लिप देख लेते हैं छोटा सा क्लिप बच्चों के अनसंग हीरो पे उसके बाद हम इनसे बात शुरू करेंगे
Okay, you have a clip of them? Clip already of them? Go
एक
ahead.
छोटा सा क्लिप है हाँ जी छोटा सा क्लिप है जी
Lovely.
बात
Thank you
करेंगे
so much. Thank you. Thank you for yet another very lovely creative. Want to thank your creative team for this.
जी
Okay,
जी
Vasundhara, your son, I think all of your unsung heroes are very uniquely and truly unsung in that way. So go ahead, Vasundhara, your unsung hero, explain and share.
Good evening, ma'am. Today I'd like to talk about my experiences with uh, commander of Demonstrative is in community.
Check your sound, Vasundhara. Your sound is it's not clear. Can you check what's not right with your sound? Yeah. Speak.
आराम से just check the volume
Yeah. Count 1, 2, 3. Count.
1, 2, 3.
there is a little all right go ahead let's try
Okay, try.
I'd like to talk about my experience the commander of Demonstrative of Tamil Nadu. So he was also considered as the first Indian martyr of Indian
Your sound is not correct, Vasundhara. We'll have to wait till this is
yes do you
technically
want to
set
take
right.
somebody do you want to take somebody's help at home to check the sound or change the gadget
Get this addressed. I'll come back to you.
yes
Just get it checked again. I'll come back to you. Ananya, your turn from Jamshedpur.
Yeah, ma'am, can you listen me properly?
yes
Yes.
yes
Ma'am, my unsung hero is Tilka Manji. He is the first political leader from Paharia, and he is also a freedom fighter. He had many people. He actually fought for years for the peoples, and the thing he got, the food and water and the wealth he got, he distributed it among the poor people. So that I like the most about him. He also had many people by training them about to use bow and arrow so that they can defend British people, because they were actually they were वो शासन कर रहे थे उन पे, सो उन्होंने उनको डिफेंड किया और
तो
सबको
पहले
सिखाया,
बो एंड
ट्रेनिंग
एरो
भी दी।
नहीं था उनके पास? बो एंड एरो पहले नहीं था?
या मैम, वो लकड़ी के जो बो एंड एरो बने थे उनसे वो उन्हें सिखाते थे। और जैसे हम लोग कोई अभी आर्ट आ गए हैं जिससे हम लोग कुछ जैसे गन वगैरह शूट करने के लिए उस समय नहीं हुआ करते थे, तो वो जिन उपयोग होते थे जो चीज, उन सब से उन्हें डिफेंड करना सिखाते थे। और वो बहुत अच्छे थे ये सब में, और इसलिए वो सिखाते थे। और अपना एक आर्म ग्रुप बनाया उन्होंने आदिवासी का, और इससे उन्होंने डिफेंड किया।
आपने कैसे इनको ढूंढा? आपको आपको कैसे समझ आई कि
मैम,
इनको कवर कर?
एक्चुअली मैं इंटरनेट पे सर्च करी थी कि मेरे रीजन में कौन है, जैसे जो फ्रीडम फाइटर हैं और अनसंग हीरो हैं, तो मुझे वहाँ मिला तिलका मांझी जी का नाम। एंड देन आई सेड माय पेरेंट्स दैट ही आई गॉट दिस। सो उन्होंने बताया कि जब वो भागलपुर गए थे मेरे पेरेंट्स, तो उन्होंने उनका जो स्टैचू का जो जगह था, मतलब वो एक्चुअली उन्हें हैंग कर दिया गया था एक बनियन ट्री से, जब वो तिलापोर फॉरेस्ट में जब वो कैच कर लिया था ब्रिटिश लोगों ने, तो हैंग हो गए थे। तो उन्होंने मुझे ये सब सारे इंफॉर्मेशन दी, और कुछ चीजें मैंने इंटरनेट से भी ढूंढी।
शाबाश। इस बुक रीडिंग के बहाने आप अपने अनसंग हीरो को पढ़ा, रिसर्च किया और इंस्पिरेशन भी ली उनसे, है ना? गुड
या मैम।
अनन्या, वेरी नाइस। अक्षर, आपकी बारी।
Yes. Good afternoon, Miss. First of all, and Miss, before talking about my unsung hero, I want to thank everybody जिन्होंने मुझे इस लायक समझा कि मैं आपसे बात कर सकूं, because you are the idol of my mother, and today when she got to know that I am meeting you, so she was very much delighted. So that's why I am thankful to everybody. Now, Miss, I want to say about my unsung hero. So, ma'am, my unsung hero is Kunwar Singh. Kunwar Singh was born on 13 November in 77 to Maharaja Shahbazad Singh and Maharani Panchratna Devi in Jagdishpur, which is now the Bhojpur district in Bihar. He was popularly known as Veer Kunwar Singh or Veer Babu Kunwar Singh. When his father died in 1826, he became the Talukdar of Jagdishpur, and he was assisted by both his brother Babu Amar Singh and his commander-in-chief Hare Krishna Singh. He always gave a good fight to the British forces for nearly a year and remained invincible. He was an expert in the art of guerrilla warfare, and his tactics always left the British puzzled. He assumed command of the soldiers who had revolted at Danapur on 25th July, and 2 days later he occupied Ada, which was the district of headquarters. Major Vincent Iyer relieved the town on 3rd August, and he defeated Singh's force, destroyed Jagdishpur. During this rebellion, he had to cross the Ganges River. But Douglas's army began to shoot at their boat. One of the bullets shattered his left wrist, and he felt that his hand had become useless, and that there was also an additional risk of infection due to the bullet shot. So he drew his sword, cut off his left hand near the elbow, and offered it to the Ganges. He fought his last battle on 23rd April 1858 near Jagdishpur. On 22nd and 23rd April, being injured, he fought bravely against the British army, and with the help of his army, drove the British army, brought down the Union Jack from Jagdishpur fort, and hoisted his flag. The thing which inspires me about him is that when he was called upon to take the arms of the Indian rebellion in 1857, in Bihar, he was nearly 80 and in falling health. But still, he fought bravely. Today, in his memory, we just have a statue in Hardinge Park, which is in Patna.
I'm so glad, so grateful that you, as a young boy, found him as your unsung hero. Very good. You see how much it tells you how much has gone behind our freedom movement. And the
Yes,
more
ma'am.
when and the credit goes to the government of India for having brought in uh, this whole movement of unsung heroes every morning at 8 o'clock on the on All India Radio in Hindi and English again. That is really making everybody aware. I don't know whether you get time to listen to it, but do find time. It's all about unsung heroes. Thank you, Akshan. How did you feel doing, studying, researching this unsung hero? How did you feel?
Miss, I felt very great because I never heard him, never heard about him. My mother told me about him, and she helped me a little bit in research, and rest I researched myself on Google. So in that way, I found out, and I felt so glad that he did such a great work, but we don't remember him. So I thought that this must be told.
Yes. You see, and thanks to technology, you have information available with you through the research applications. But had it not been there, you would have had to go to the library and research, and it had been a limitation. Today, you have everything possible on here, isn't it, Akshay?
Yes, ma'am.
Thanks to that's the benefit of technology. Am I right,
Yes.
Ananya? How did you feel after researching your unsung hero?
Ma'am, I feel like him also. I feel very great that I am, उन्होंने इतना सब कुछ किया हमारे लिए, हमें उन्हें याद रखने के लिए मैंने उनका ऐसा किया। मुझे
So he
बहुत अच्छा लग रहा
gratitude.
है ये बोलते हुए कि, और बहुत प्राउड फील हो रहा है कि वो एक फ्रीडम फाइटर थे, इंडियन फ्रीडम फाइटर थे,
हाँ, और आपके
और
मन
उन्होंने
में
गलत के
ग्रेटिट्यूड
प्रति
आता है।
आवाज उठाई।
यस, आपके मन में आ रहा है ग्रेटिट्यूड टुवर्ड्स उन्होंने, जो कि कुछ भी अपेक्षा किए हुए, कुछ औहदे के बिना, कुछ सोचा कि मुझे क्या मिलेगा, लेकिन मेरे देश को फ्रीडम मिलेगी, उन्होंने अपने आप को त्यागा सारी उम्र। आई थिंक बहुत ग्रेटिट्यूड आपके मन में छोटी उम्र में अगर ऐसा भावना आ जाए ग्रेटिट्यूड की, देन इट रियली गोज अ लॉन्ग वे इन कैरेक्टर बिल्डिंग, strengthening your character value systems. Okay, Satvik, your turn.
Good evening, ma'am. Today, my unsung hero that I'm going to talk about is her name is Ahilya Bai Holkar. Actually, she was the queen of the Maratha Empire in the 18th century. She was that kind of a woman who had gone through a lot of tragedy in her early life. She lost her son, she lost her husband, and she lost her father-in-law. And her father-in-law was the king of the empire. And after his death, she decided to take over the Holkar dynasty, and she ruled for almost 30 years in her whole life. And in that 30 years she had prospered Indore from a very small city to almost a flourishing city, like completely changed it totally. And over that, moreover that, she had helped the other state, a Malwa state, from intruders and stopped them. And even during the colonization times, she had spreaded the message of Dharma. And that is what inspired me a lot about her, ma'am. And she was a main reason for building a lot of temples across almost every part of India. And she was the main point that she made me inspired was that she had, even in that kind of a time, when everything was men related, she was that one person who broke every barrier and she came out to become the queen. And I feel like she's not the Maratha king, and moreover, like the queen of the 18th century. Thank you.
How did you find her up? How did you
I,
search?
I had actually talked about it to my parents, and they had suggested me this name. They kind of conduct a class for children, a value-based class, and they inculcate values to children. And over there, they had talked about this woman, and I didn't know actually. And then I
How did you?
researched more.
Good. How did you feel after doing the research?
Ma'am, I felt like there were more, and I should have learned more about this. And I felt like we've been told very less about our freedom fighters. Only very few are been come into contact.
Good. You see, when you have your books, you on your own need to go a little beyond your books, because books
Yes,
may
ma'am.
not have, after all, book will have a limitation of pages. So
Yes,
nothing stops you from inculcating the habit of researching a subject more on your own.
yes, ma'am.
So once you inculcate the habit of reading, you will be able to acquire more knowledge.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much, Satvik.
Thank you,
Vasundhara,
ma'am.
your turn. Are you? Is the sound good?
Ma'am, am I audible now, ma'am?
Very good. Now go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am. Today I would like to share she was the army commander of Velu Nachiyar, the queen of Shivaganga district in Tamil Nadu. She has also participated in various campaigns against the East India Company in the 18th century. And in order to gain the kingdom back from the British, she formulated her own strategy and planned a surprise attack on British. So women were usually not allowed inside the kingdom. But since it was the 10th day of the Navaratri, women were allowed inside the kingdom to celebrate the Vijayadashmi festival in the Rajarajeshwari Amman temple. Women, women of her armies were dressed as civilians and were left unnoticed by British. And on Queen's Q, the women attacked the women attacked the British. And Queen made use of this opportunity as it was a chaotic surrounding. She asked her comrades to pour ghee and oil on her, which was left for burning the lamps, and she destroyed all the weapons of the British and won the battle. And I was inspired by her because of her bravery and brilliancy that not only allowed Velu Nachiyar to win the battle, but also to regain her fort and kingdom. Thank you, ma'am.
So how did you identify her?
Ma'am, I came across her through a Tamil speech that was held in our school, ma'am. So I
Oh,
researched on her on Google and then found about Kuili, ma'am.
so there was an event in the school.
Yes, ma'am.
What was that event?
It was like Tamil speech competition, ma'am. So each one spoke about different person. So I came across a speech on Velu Natya. Then I researched in Google and found about Kuili, ma'am.
So you already made this speech in the school?
No, ma'am. One of my friend made the speech,
Or
ma'am.
so you picked it up from your friend? Good.
Yes, ma'am.
Very nice. See, every event, every occasion has a reason. If you listen carefully and if you attend properly. Very nice, Vasundhara. Okay, Bitupon, your turn. Bitu, your turn. Switch on your mic.
Yeah, ma'am. Ma'am, good evening, ma'am. Ma'am, first of all, a happy Rongali Bihu and Baisakhi, and wish you Tamil New Year, everything to you. And ma'am, today I will be saying about my unsung hero, whose name is Lasit Barfukan. Ma'am, he is remembered as a great warrior from Assam. He was the one who defended the Mughal 17 times and protected his motherland, Assam, from coming into the reign of the Mughals. And ma'am, he was born to a Ahum family at Saraido, and after that, when he rose to power, then he at that time, ma'am, means he fought a battle of Saraikhat, and at that time he was seriously ill. But ma'am, in spite of that, he fought with the Mughals and defeated them, and then and after that, he said that if the Mughals would try again to invade Assam, then they will not be able to rule in India again. And ma'am, from that time, the Mughal, they didn't even look back again to the Assam. And ma'am, that's all. Thank you, ma'am.
How did you find him?
Ma'am, ma'am, actually, when the question for the unsung hero came, then I thought that ma'am, nowadays we know that ma'am, means I found it in a chapter of my book where it is mentioned about how he fought the Battle of Saraighat bravely. And ma'am, after that, I started searching on Google about him, and I found that he was a Bhonsle, ma'am, who defeated the Mughals. who is the Maratha ruler who has defended the who has defended the Mughal, who has defended his empire, Maratha empire, from the Mughal. Ma'am, means nowadays in India, if you will ask anyone who is Shivaji, then anyone can answer. But ma'am, when you will ask who is that Lasit Borphukan, or where is the Ahom king, then ma'am, everyone thinks a lot and struggles a lot to answer. So ma'am, I thought this is a good chance. That's I say in searching on Google.
And after you researched him, how did you feel?
I'm very proud. My heart filled with pride that even from Assam there is one who has defeated and not only defeated the Mughals but also saved and protected his motherland from coming in the reign of the Mughals, and that too 17 times. Can't imaginable.
All these stories of yours clearly reveal how our earlier generations fought for their own sense of freedom, independence as Indians, as Bharat Desh, and in living in their own areas, how life was so tough, how tough their life was, sometimes against sometimes against Mughals or invasions, and later on by the Britishers. How tough the life was. And now, if you feel it's much easier with this democracy, all you have to do is continue to study hard, carefully study hard, prepare for yourself, make your good characters, work on your careers, and you have parents look, it's peacetime. Today is peacetime. Earlier times, our history was a disturbed history. Everybody was afraid of any invasion from any side. And with no technology, no communications, travels were very difficult, isn't it? How things are much, much easier and more comfortable now. Did you all realize that? And in a way, how quickly from we sit and we reach the other part of India in another 2.5 hours from Kanyakumari to Kashmir. Earlier, if you were in Assam, you were stuck in Assam. No roads, no railways, no vehicles, no phones, no communications. And yet they were fighting for survival in their own areas. So you must be all youngsters feeling so good, but also realize how tough our the generations earlier went through. Tough times, fighting the British and also getting hung. See how cruel those people were, hanging people from the tree, how punishing they were. Now it's a rule of law. You cannot be doing this. It has to be a process of law. There's no hanging on the trees. Everything's by rule of law. There's a constitution. There's by everything by the law. So aren't you youngsters feeling good about? Look at the change you are seeing when you read history, isn't it? That's another very important realization, all of you, and be grateful for the current situations. Now it's a democracy. All you have to do is once in 5 years go and vote for people you want. But after that, you have to stay alert how these leaders perform, but also build your own personalities and careers so that you can look after the nation as you grow up. Isn't it? You agree with me? You realize this when you study unsung heroes, how grateful you must remain, and all your endeavor should now be to grow up to be powerful, responsible citizens, so that when you grow up, you further build the nation and make it strong, and never allow democracy to be compromised. Isn't it? Here we all have equal rights, men or women, girls or boys, young or old, Eastern or Western, colored or not colored. Everybody's equal before the law, isn't it? These are heavenly situations compared to what our seniors have suffered in the past. That's the point. Now let's go to your Q&A. Saina, should I go to Q&A now? Or want to say something till then?
नहीं, आप Q&A शुरू करो, then I'll do a sum.
Okay. All right. So we will have Saina summing up. She carefully watch and listen to you. And then after your Q&A, she'll give you the little sum up of what are the takeaways she feels about it. Akshat, your question?
Yes, Miss. Miss, my question is that India is not a fully developed country even till now. So, Miss, what would you suggest the youth of India to do for the nation in order to make it a fully developed country?
Well, depends on how you look at word development. If you're looking at it as economic development, it's one story. If you're looking at it from the economics, wealth generation, it's another story, right? If you're looking at social development, it's another story. If you look at spiritual development, it's another story. If you look at civilizational background, it's another story. So if you look at civilization development, it is the richest probably in the world. As old as the Egyptian civilization or the Greek civilization. Ours are the oldest. So it all depends. If you're looking at in the limited way of economic development, is that the meaning? Is that the meaning?
Yes, Miss.
Oh, it is. Well, that is why we come into the category of developing country. That's why we are called the developing country. But it's developing very rapidly because of the legacy of underdevelopment, which we inherited for last 75 years. But during this last 75 years, the amount of money generation which could have gone into infrastructure maybe was never ever enough to build more roads, bridges, railways, infrastructures, airports, etc. But if you note factories, manufacturing, but India has come a long way for your generation. Look at the technological, the digital development which we've made. We made a huge development in the IT sector. India is now a major provider of IT services and software to the rest of the world. In the pharmaceutical area, India has hugely contributed to the international in COVID prevention. We are a rare country which produced its own vaccination. Right? So when it comes to certain areas of development, we are already now marching in step with the rest of the world. And in certain areas, we are even better. But in many other areas, like for instance, women empowerment, women's entrepreneurship, women equally becoming economically independent. Yes, we are not developed. We are far behind. Why? Because we did not educate or treat our women equally, daughters equally as we were growing up all these years. But it's happening only now. And that whole thing has been now. Similarly, why do we have a reservation policy? Because we had many classes of society which were backward. That is why you have reservation, to make them equal, to come up faster and fast forward, and give them equal opportunities or extra opportunities to make it equal. So this is called affirmative action in our country. All countries do, but in our case, areas like, for instance, aspirational, there were about 160 aspirational cities identified by the government of India which were backward. Now they didn't call it backward areas, we call them aspirational. They were aspiring to be equal. So a lot more money went into those aspirational districts to build infrastructure, medical colleges, educational institutions, universities, colleges, roads, bridges, right? Water facilities, sanitation, job employment, cultural centers. So they were called aspirational districts, and more than 150 were identified 2-3 years ago by Niti Aayog, and all of us who were in administration were being told this, and more attention was being paid for aspirational districts. So India is a developing country, but it constantly now is identifying areas where more development needs to be invested into. And if you've seen, from fewer medical colleges now we have many more colleges have been inaugurated. From fewer medical engineering colleges and Indian institutes of management, there are many more now opened up. So if you Google now, And go back to 5, 6, 7, 8 years, you'll see how many were there 7 years ago and how many are now. Medical colleges, engineering colleges, universities. Today you are moving towards a digital university, right? And now you're going into for major examinations of like one common entrance examination for universities, so that you can go strictly on merit is one rate, and you can go to, it's not one board giving you full marks, another board giving you less marks, and then you lose out because the board has a stricter evaluation and another state has a tighter liberal evaluation. So India is also developing rapidly, but with all of you now, as you grow up and you contribute to nation building, it will develop faster. How? What is the wealth of a country? Wealth of the country is its healthy youth. That's the wealth of a country. The wealth of the country is each one of you. Each one of you knowing your civilization, your history, your potential, your capability, and your sense of responsibility. You build the nation. So the past youth has built what is now. The current youth now will build the tomorrow. So once you have a sense of responsibility and a vision for your country, you will see each one of you will contribute and lay the bricks of the whole architecture, the whole architecture of Mera Bharat Mahan. And all of you are foundations and stones and cement providers to make that brilliant architecture called Bharat. That is how Mera Bharat Mahan. And today other countries are coming for skills hiring. Japan is coming, Germany is coming, and look at Australia. Today, Australia is now wanting more and more skills, youth skills from India, because it doesn't have its own. And now they know that India has youth and India has. So India is developing pretty rapidly. And I think another 5, 7 years, India's shape will be totally different in economic regeneration. So that's how it is. So it is not fully developed, but it is a very strongly moving towards the high speed towards development. Look at the highways, the infrastructure, the number of airports which has been increased over a period. So be proud of the future, look forward to the future, proud, and look forward to your contribution in strengthening the foundations.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I had one more question, if I could get the permission to ask it. Ma'am, how should one keep himself energized throughout the day?
By this, I think I answered your question in the same answer, is how do you keep yourself motivated and very purpose oriented? What am I growing up for? What is my day for? What is the purpose of my day? What is the purpose? How do I want my tomorrow to be? You will automatically do that today, which will strengthen your tomorrow. So if you have a vision of tomorrow, automatically you will. I think you said you're fond of cooking, aren't you? You said that?
Sorry,
You said you were fond of. Who said you? Somebody, one of you said you're fond of cooking. You said it. Satvik said. Now, when you want a better tomorrow, supposing you want to bake a cake tomorrow, would you not collect all the ingredients before that to make a good cake, to bake a good cake? So how will you, if you want a better cake tomorrow, what would you? You'd prepare for it before. When you do idli sambar, don't you soak the rice at night? Only so that it gets a little tastier for the tomorrow, isn't it? We soak it. It's preparing for tomorrow. So same way in life, when you want something tomorrow, what do? You prepare for the day in advance. You want to do a better exam, you do a better reading and preparation and revision, isn't it? So the purpose of the day is what kind of tomorrow you want. If you want a good tomorrow, what will you do? You'll prepare every day for a better tomorrow, because tomorrow will come. As long as there is life, tomorrow will come till it all stops. So for you, you have a whole life ahead, full of tomorrows, God's grace. So your tomorrow will be better by what you do today. Like, for instance, what you did yesterday, you are today. What you will be tomorrow is what you do today. So today you are what you did yesterday, and tomorrow will be what you did today, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
So every day has a purpose. Every day has a purpose. A healthy today assures you health tomorrow, isn't it? Isn't it?
Yes.
So maintaining good health will give you more energy tomorrow. And even today, same day, you'll get the energy. You'll get the same result. Today, healthy, you have energy today. So work towards the right kind of purpose and pray that all works well for you. Okay, Akshay, you got the answers?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Ananya, your question?
Ma'am, my question is, ma'am, as you were a tennis player, a politician, and also an IPS officer, so ma'am, how could you manage the stress? So much stress about if one can't handle the stress of one profession, how could you handle so much stress of so many professions?
Ananya, when you enjoy doing whatever you have chosen to do, there's no stress. On the contrary, there's energy.
But
If you
ma'am,
enjoy
every
doing
profession has some problem if comes, so you have to handle it.
what
So
problem?
if
For instance,
what
where's
ma'am?
the problem? No, if you want to do something, you prepare for it. If I'm playing tennis, I go practice. I prepare. I travel. I exercise because I want to do it. Is there a compulsion? Yeah, I chose to do it. When I chose to do it, where's the problem? I'm choosing to do it. So there's no problem. I just have to work and remain concentrated and focused and enjoy the doing it. If I don't enjoy, there's a problem. But if I enjoy it, then there's no problem. Then
Then
it's
no problem.
enjoyment. On the contrary, there's more energy in getting. When you're playing tennis and you're preparing, you are wanting to win or you lose, but you prepare again. So it's not a problem. It's a part of the game. You've chosen to play. So when you choose to play, it's a part of the game. There's no stress. There's no problem. It's because you've chosen, you enjoy, and the enjoyment itself makes you play next time again. And the day you stop enjoyment, stop playing. If you don't enjoy, don't play. Or choose to enjoy. So there is no stress. Stress is when you are compelled to do something you don't like to do. Problem is to do something when you don't want to do. But if you want to do, right, you practice, you prepare, and you achieve, and you get joy out of it. The answer lies in your mindset. What do you want to do? Stress is actually punishing yourself because you're going against your will.
Okay, ma'am.
So every profession, when I'm wearing my uniform, I'm enjoying my work, I'm doing my duty, I like it. When I'm playing my tennis, I'm enjoying the play and I like it. So I take energy out of tennis and I get the joy out of wearing my uniform and enjoy it. Of course, there will be more ways how to do it better and better. That's different. But when you like doing something, then there is joy in it. There is no stress, it's enjoyment. And enjoyment gives you strength. So enjoy doing what you do. That's a secret. Okay,
Okay, ma'am.
Ananya?
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Bitupon. Lovely, interesting name. Bitupon
Vitupon signal will come later.
is Bitu's become poor boy.
Nervous
Let's see when he
and
comes. Okay, Satvik,
Yes, ma'am.
your
Ma'am, my doubt was that if you were to become the Prime Minister of India, what would be the first thing you would be implementing?
that's called if.
Yes, ma'am.
That's called if. If. First thing you would implement. I don't think you can do first thing. You have to do so many first of all direction. Because it's when you run a government, when you run an administration, you have to fire all cylinders, all directions. It's not one cylinder at a time because time is of essence. So when you are a prime minister, or like for instance, I was Lieutenant Governor Puducherry, I was not doing one thing at a time. I was doing so many things at the same time. So as a prime minister of a country, don't you see the prime minister doing so many things at the same time? And he has a cabinet where he's firing all cylinders, all portfolios, all ministries, all working at the same speed, all working innovatively, right? So and all directions. It's not part and part, it's no sequential. As an administrator, if you say, if I were the prime minister, I would say, if I were the any administrator, any administrator who administers, whether it's an office, whether it's a country, you have to go multi, you have to work all directional. Like, for instance, the health of a person. Can you say, I can have a problem with the eyes? Okay, I'll work with my head. Or there's problem with my head and I can let the heart relax. Or my one arm can relax and my one arm can work. Body is organic whole. So is country an organic whole. So is an office organic. And the better the more multidirectionally you function, equally, prioritizing but equally, the more efficient you will be, more holistic you will be, more organic will you be in administration. That means all directions: education taken care of, rule of law taken care of, health taken care of, industry taken care of, technology taken. You fire all cylinders. You for, and then you have the youth, you have population connectivity, you ensure communication. You see how our prime minister constantly communicates with the nation by going on the television many times, man ki baat, and regularly doing shiksha classes with the students. He finds opportunities to connect. He works multidimensionally. So if you watch him carefully, you will see every day is doing something different and in some different area. So what is he doing? He is firing. It's like triggering all directions. That's what leadership is all about. Administrative leadership is organic, it's holistic, it's wholesome, it's comprehensive, and it's collaborative. Collaborate, work together. So this is what I think. If I were, it will be like an administrator or a CEO of a company. So look, the CEO of the company, well, they worked internationally. Here we are talking nationally, they work globally. The Googles of the day, the iPhones of the day, they work globally and they connect internationally, regularly doing webinars and training and finding out what happened. Multinationals do this. So you can be, so prime minister or CEO of a company or an administrator, all of them have one common secret: how holistically they function, how comprehensively, how organically together. So
Yes,
I would work all directionals simultaneously, but identifying areas of greater attention. And when you are at that seat of power, you know what area needs greater attention because you receive a lot of inputs.
yes, ma'am. I also had one more question.
Yeah.
Ma'am, I'm actually aspiring to be an aeronautical engineer. And what would be your advice for me now?
To you,
Yes, ma'am.
oh, study as much as you can on the subject. Leave nothing unread. Research. Go Google. Look at YouTubes. Look at documentaries. Look at films on aeronautical, wherever they are. Read on your own. Keep reading, and you will know which area of aeronautical would you like to go. So the more you read, the more you see, the more experience, your more insight will tell you where is your heart, which area, and geographically where do you go, what aspect of where, when you do join NASA or do you go to ISRO, depends on you. So then you will know where who are the scientists you role model, where should you do internship, which college should you do for learning. That then the more you research, self educate, and find good mentors for yourself.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All right, now we have Vasundhara. Vasundhara,
My
your turn.
Yes, ma'am. My question is, how could we give justice to both our passion as well as our academics simultaneously and emerge out successfully in our life, ma'am?
It's all the way you spend your day, the way you allocate your time, hours. Because when you allocate your, and then how do you concentrate? Again, how much do you enjoy doing? How much do you love doing? Because unless you love doing what you do, like we enjoy and love doing this Friday book show, right? Unless we enjoy and love doing, why would we do it? Why should we do it? And because the demonstrative learning team, the team loves doing all this, we do it for the love of it. So as long as you love, you allocate your time. And when you love something, you then put aside, okay, we will do this on this day, we will do this day, and this is the preparation we'll do. So you do justice by your proper preparation and allocation of your resources. And one of the most important resource is your time, is the time you allocate, and the attention you pay, and the preparation you do, and the team you build, right? And the technology you use, and the way you present. All this comes as a package. So whether it's art, like for instance, you are a dancer, you will choose your time of the day, hours of the day. When is your best time that you would like to go dancing, and you will learn. Then you also have academics, like I allocated time for sports, and I allocated time for my studies. And that's how I was a dual scholarship holder, because I allocated the time very well to both, not wrong time at the wrong place, and use the time optimally. If I would be traveling, I would take my books. I can catch up with a lot of my reading. So it's the way you use your time. If that is your priority. Like for instance, you want to do well in academics and you want to do well in dancing, you will allocate your time both ways, and you'll focus in attention on both. Whenever you are there, you'll excel in both. Is the way you do.
Yes. Thank you, ma'am.
All right, our friend is back. Bitukon.
Vita, ask your question quickly. Vita. Ask your question.
Yeah. Ma'am, actually, here the network is very slow. That's why I was facing
कोई
problem.
बात
Ma'am, my question is how to give a well-constructed reply to those. Yeah, ma'am.
how to give a well constructed reply.
Ma'am, shall I ask my question
Yes, yes,
to those
yes.
who thinks that we are to ma'am, how to give a well-constructed reply to those who thinks that we can't do or achieve something as we are not capable of doing that as per the person.
The answer is very simple. Answer is very simple. By proving them wrong, and doing and proving that you can do it. And you can say, all right, you think I can't do it, but I will show you how I can do it. So you translate that into deeds, behavior, action, results. And then they'll change their mind and say, oh, sorry, we were wrong, you were right. By doing, not only by saying, by constantly doing, practicing, and achieving, and showing the results. Isn't it? If you like my answer, clap, clap, clap.
Yeah, ma'am.
Me too. I know whether you understood. If you like my answer, clap, clap. Yeah, now I understood. He's got the message. Saina, yours for the summing up now. Thank you. Thank you. Good. Pitu has got the message. Now he's very happy. He will now start doing what he wants to do to prove others wrong, that Bitu can do it. I'm sure Bitu wants to prove something. He will now change. He will do it. Okay, good. Saina, your turn now.
Ji, ji. Children, my random thoughts, which I've been listening to all of you, my random thoughts. When you choose a career, do complete research. You all are now at the right age. Start doing your research. अपना अपना career चुनने से पहले उस career को पूरा अच्छे से जानो और समझो. आपने कुछ पूछा था बेटा. अब आप swimmer अगर हो तो can you complain about the water? You can't. If you're a sportsman, can you complain about the weather? If you're a doctor, can you complain about the timings? If you are an army officer, can you complain about the height and the environment? You can't. If you're an actor, can you complain about the lights, the heat of the lights? So do your thorough research, and you must understand every career has various aspects to the career itself. तो पूरी तैयारी के साथ उसको जान के then you proceed. कल की तैयारी की बात हो रही थी. हमारे हाथ में सिर्फ हमारा एफर्ट है. हमारे हाथ में हमारी इंटेंशन और हमारा एफर्ट है. वहां पर ध्यान लगाओ. रोज रात को अपने साथ 5 मिनट बैठो और ये टाइम है ये सब चीजें शुरू करने का. मैंने आज क्या बोया? What did I sow today? मैंने आज क्या बोया? क्योंकि कल वो ही मिलेगा. मैंने आज क्या बोया, ये सोचना. अनन्या, आपने बात करी थी सेल्फ डिफेंस की. वो तो एक फिजिकल एक्टिविटी थी कि उन्होंने दूसरों को सेल्फ डिफेंस सिखाई. आप सब बच्चों को सोचना है मेरा सेल्फ क्या है. ये वर्ड सेल्फ बहुत जरूरी है. और सेल्फ में कभी ISH नहीं लगाना. जब ISH लगाते हैं ना सेल्फ में, वो सबसे ज्यादा एक डिप्लीटिंग इमोशन बन जाता है. वो कभी नहीं लगाना. और अपने सेल्फ को मजबूत करना है. उस सेल्फ में सब कुछ आएगा. आपका सेल्फ मजबूत होगा ना, आपका आसपास ठीक रहेगा. मैं बार बार बोलती हूँ, अपने सेल्फ को मजबूत रखोगे, वो कर्मा सबसे ज्यादा सेल्फलेस कर्मा है. जितना आपका सेल्फ मजबूत रहेगा एज बॉयज एंड गर्ल्स, उतना ही आपका वातावरण भी मजबूत रहेगा. तो सेल्फ पे ध्यान रखना. किसी बच्चे ने, प्यारे से बच्चे ने धर्मा वर्ड यूज करा है आज. बहुत बड़ा वर्ड है. कभी भी बड़े होते होते ऐसे किसी मोड़ पर आओ कि कुछ चुनना पड़े, कोई फैसला करना पड़े, तो क्या करोगे? धर्म के साथ जाना. एक छोटा शब्द नहीं है, एक जीने का तरीका है. धर्मा इज अ वे ऑफ लाइफ. और धर्मा में समझ बहुत है. एक छोटा शब्द नहीं है. आप छोटी उम्र के नहीं हो. अगर हम अपने बच्चों को वी डोंट कैच देम यंग एंड टीच देम अबाउट ऑल दिस, तो कब सिखाएंगे? कब बताएंगे उनको? अच्छा, धर्म वर्ड के साथ एक शब्द जुड़ा है, वो है कर्म. आप धर्म निभा ही नहीं सकते अगर आपका कर्म ठीक नहीं है. धर्मा रिलीजन नहीं है. धर्मा जीने का तरीका है. हमारी बुनियाद है जिस पे हम सब टिके हुए हैं. हमारा देश, हमारे परिवार, हमारा समाज, सब कुछ धर्म पे टिका हुआ है. ये सब चीजों के बारे में सोचना, ये सब रिफ्लेक्शन मांगता है. धर्मा एंड कर्मा गो हैंड इन हैंड. सोचना, रिफ्लेक्ट करना. आपने देश के बारे में बात करी थी, देश की उन्नति के बारे में. मम्मी ने जो आपको बताया वो सब बहुत सुंदर है, पर ये हमेशा ध्यान रखना कि आप सबका वेलबींग कंट्रीब्यूट करेगा टू द वेलबींग ऑफ द नेशन. अपना वेलबींग, अपने अपने परिवारों का वेलबींग, उस पर ध्यान लगाओ. वो कंट्रीब्यूट करेगा टू द वेलबींग ऑफ द नेशन. और वेलबींग सिर्फ आर्थिक नहीं होता है, हमने हर एस्पेक्ट के वेलबींग पे ध्यान लगाना है। सोचो।
Can we have the last one, Saina? Because
Yes,
already crossed the time.
मैंने रैंडम लिखा था। हमने खुद को राइट प्रूव करना है, हमने खुद को, अपने सेल्फ बिलीफ को प्रूव करना है। विटुपॉन, हमने खुद को जानना है, खुद को पहचानना है। एंड एक्शंस ऑलवेज स्पीक लाउडर देन वर्ड्स। पर विटुपॉन, आप बोलो कुछ और करो कुछ, इट्स नॉट गोइंग टू वर्क। लुक एट हिज स्वीट स्माइल। सो जो आप बोलोगे वो आप करोगे, जो आप करोगे वो आप बोलते हो। तो ये इंटेग्रिटी बहुत जरूरी है। एंड सेल्फ बिलीफ, खुद पे विश्वास। एंड देन योर वर्ड्स एंड एक्शन नीड टू बी इन हार्मनी। So these were my thoughts for all of you. सोचो इवेंट के बाद। जी,
So I want to thank you, Saina, and thank you, Ananya, Akshat, Satvik, Vasundhara, and Bitupon. We will stay connected, as the team must have already told you. Yes,
जी, जी।
stay connected,
They will-
and you'll
they
now
will
become
join.
an alumni. You'll become an alumni of the book reading session number. Which number, beta?
Mummy, they are 87 today. They are
So they are-
87 sessions. Yes.
So you are
Completed
alumni
87.
87. I
Yes.
was yesterday or day before in Hyderabad, and many book reading students of certain batches came to see me. So अब कहते हैं, कोई बोले मैं 23rd batch, कोई बोले मैं 25th batch. So you become an alumni.
आज
Now you are
87
alumni of the book reading session.
87 सेशंस पूरे हुए। हाँ
Your
जी।
87th session. Your identity is your session 87. So your class of 87. Yes, Vasundhara?
Yes.
So God knows when we'll meet again. But like, for instance, that day I happened to be in another city, and the students came up and said hello to me. They found a way to come and connect. So God knows when we meet again, but we will stay connected and become an alumni. Okay, okay,
जी।
children of chapter 87. Book
Session
reading
87.
book reading session 87.
जी।
So जो आपने सीखा याद रखना है और आगे भी बताना है। All right, till then, take care of yourself.
हाँ जी।
Bye bye.
जय धारी माँ, बच्चों खुश रहो, हंसते खेलते रहो, खुश रहो।
Thank you.
धारी माँ,
Okay,
मम्मी।
bye bye.
जी, हमारी ऑडियंसेस का बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया। You all make it so much more meaningful. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. जी, we see you next Friday. Thank you.
Yep.
जय धारी माँ।